Hi, I'm Ryan, and welcome to my coding bootcamp journey. In this series, I will share my experiences as I learned to code through Flatiron School's web development program. If you know anyone that would enjoy this series, please send them to the link at the bottom of the screen. All right. So, what is new this week? I wasn't able to record last week. I had some personal obligations, and I just didn't have. I just ran out of time. So, anyway, um, we started getting into utilizing simple APIs and pulling from them with using JavaScript. And an API is simply a way for you to hook into uh, uh, like another website, and pull from their service and whatnot. So an example of this is hooking into Twitter and pulling tweets that have like certain keywords or something like that. But we're doing something simpler than that. It's like we were like pulling like images of dogs and names of breeds and stuff, and having them display on the screen. And we're utilizing we were utilizing I'm not sure if it's technically a library, but fetch that allows you to pull from pull from URL, and allows you to like you can either send or receive, depending on what you're looking to do. And also started to work with objects, which uh, they work differently than objects in Ruby, because when JavaScript was created, it wasn't considered like a serious thing. And so it was like just a scripting language for like a little toy thing for people to play with, and really wasn't taken seriously. And at least it best of my memory, it really didn't become more commonplace until like early 2000s, when Google Maps was created, when there's like, oh wait, we can actually use this to provide interactivity and stuff like that. And so objects were kind of created as an afterthought, because now it's like, oh, this is a real tool that we can use. Whereas with Ruby, its initial design. It was initially designed as an object oriented language. So learn how to edit and delete properties in JavaScript objects. But again, they're not as robust as Ruby objects. But yeah, so that was fun. And yeah, as far as struggles, it was again with uh, well, the big struggle for me was we had a simple form where it was like the put in like name of a toy and like a link to an image, and had use that to render it on screen, and which sounds simple enough. But I had, it was a bit of a struggle, have set up like event listeners and utilizing prevent default, because it kept with a form, the default action is to submit the information, and then redirect the user. And what one of JavaScript's main functions is listen to events on a page, like a mouse click or arrow pressing, or when you hover the mouse over an image, or something like that. So I had to set up an event listener for the form and kind of prevent it from submitting the data and redirecting. And so yeah, that I got stuck on that for a bit, but that was my big struggle for this one. And with victories, this might seems a bit odd, but part of my struggles is I use VS Code for writing the my code, and it has an extension called Live Server, which what when you're utilizing that, you just when you save the file, it automatically shows the changes that you made. You don't have to keep refreshing the page. And in order to in the particular lab that I was working on, we're using an JavaScript package called JSON server to as kind of like a dummy backend, or I'm not quite sure if that's the right word, but kind of to allow like the fetch process to work and that kind of thing. And the live server and the JSON server weren't working together well. The live server kept refreshing the page, even though all of my JavaScript code was just fine. And so I went ahead and just opened the HTML file straight in the browser, and everything worked. So I'm calling this a victory because this is a good lesson to learn for when I'm dealing with more complex problems that would the live server and VS Code and JSON server not working together. That can that definitely masked or that caused some misdirection in my troubleshooting process. So it was good to learn that at this stage, as opposed to later on when I'm dealing with more complex problems. So that's why I'm calling it a victory. And what am I looking forward to? So the next section is setting up Rails as as an API. So again, I haven't really looked into it, but at this point, my experience with Rails is setting up, a full stack web app with both the front end and the back end, and so it'll be and so obviously this will involve JavaScript. Uh, so it'll be interesting to learn how to set up Rails as as a back end API for as service for other applications. So yeah, this has definitely been interesting working with JavaScript so far. So that's all I have for you this week. I do thank you for watching. If you want to stay up to date, please like and subscribe, and feel free to check out the rest of this series. And if you have any comments or questions, please post them below, and I'll see you in the next chapter.